Hello, adventurers! I'm Gray, and welcome to another Hytale blog update. Now, this blog update is a fairly simple and brief one, but I want to go over it anyway in order to hype myself and everyone else up for Hytale and to keep you all updated with the most relevant recent information about the game. So, this blog update is about key art, which is basically the artwork that they use for backgrounds and promotional material and that type of stuff. They're made by artist Thomas Zale Frick. So if you like the art that he makes, you should definitely check him out online. I'm sure he makes all sorts of other cool stuff. And it has music made by composer Oscar Garvin, which I'm glad that they're releasing all sorts of new Hytale music because I've been enjoying all of it. It's really good, actually. Some of the favorite music I've heard in games, mainly because I can kind of listen to them on my own time and they sound really nice and have great ambiance. So basically, these art pieces are created, interestingly, with Procreate for iPad, which I've heard of Procreate. It's an app that I've seen. It's apparently a pretty advanced drawing app where you have all sorts of features, you can make stuff. But people have been making some pretty detailed drawings in Procreate, and then they just transfer it to Photoshop and then they edit it in Photoshop, which is a cool process and a cool idea. Normally people make everything in Photoshop, so this is kind of like a mix between two different things. So they do a little time lapse of the different art pieces that they make. You can kind of see here that they start off with a brief little sketch, and I'm not going to watch the whole thing, but I'll skip through it a bit. Then they color it in using Procreate, of course, add some details and some touches. And overall, they just keep on adding things, moving things around, zooming out, and working on different layers. I'm not an artist myself. The closest thing I've done to art is going on paint.net and making thumbnails for YouTube, which I feel like I've gotten better at over the years. I think they stand out way more now than they used to on my old channel. And I like them a lot. But I cannot make anything like this. I've done a little bit of sketches on a drawing pad, and I've always wanted to get into art, but I've never had the time to do it, and I probably never will. Especially with trying to do YouTube and school, taking up as much time as it is, it makes it very difficult. But you can see here, and then they're just adding more touches, more details, all sorts of stuff until it makes a finished wallpaper that you can download. And if you want to download them, like I said, just go to the media section up here, and it's in the background, so you can click on it. You can save the image and you can set it as your background. They're really nice. I have one as my background on my computer, though I won't show it because I don't want to show my desktop right now. So this first one, he says the artist Thomas Frick says he's happy because it looks close to what we have in-game, which is an interesting statement because if this is how things look in-game, then it's going to look really nice in-game. But he tries interesting color palettes to create something with a nice atmosphere. Here, this is a green theme, sort of nature-y, foresty, swampy, dark blue and bright blue with a touch of brown. It's foggy because it's a swamp, and it helps with building weather. We try to reproduce the same effect for the in-game landscape. So it's kind of like a mix between fancified art and the actual in-game assets. They add some architecture too, which is the Quebec tree, along with, and they help with inspiration, kind of like storyboarding in a movie and stuff like that. You get an idea for how you want it to look like, based off the artwork you make for it. So down here we have Zone 2 Desert, which is a similar thing, except, oh, I'm going to turn that off for now. Except in a desert theme, of course, you can see that they color it in, they add more detail and all that stuff. And there's just a lone wanderer, which reminds me a lot about Journey, if you've heard of that video game. Usually I try not to block myself in the cubic style of sketching, unlike the Minecraft artists, might I add. It's a mix between, this is interesting. I like the mix between cubes for the architecture and stuff like that, along with certain amounts of realism scattered around. So there's like the sand dunes and non-cubic towers and stuff mixed in with the cubes. It makes a really interesting effect, I have to say. So in this one, he started out with a big flat area of color. I'm not too worried about which materials will exist, but keep in mind that the sand will become a block, the stone will become a certain type of stone. So it kind of transitions into different things to make it work and flow well. So he didn't want a typical desert with a bright blue sky like the picture we have in our minds. He wants the hot desert aspect and wanted the thread. So this is like a video game type desert with like an Eye of Sauron or something off in the distance. There's a sandstorm coming and you have the threatening tower. It became a scarab nest. A scarab nest? Oh, so this is actually in-game a scarab nest. And I don't know what a scarab is, but I'm guessing it's in the concept art somewhere. Some sort of desert creature, something like that. So that's interesting. That might be something we explore in the game. So he put the player alone to give a sense of loneliness and exploration, which I really like. Minecraft can feel lonely quite often, but I sort of like that loneliness because it provides an escape from the real world and the judgment of people in real life. You kind of can be by yourself and explore on your own for a little while and get immersed in your own world, which is a really nice feeling, and I hope that this gives the same thing when I play Hytale. And finally, we have a little character time-lapse of Varon, which is this Cthulhu-looking guy with magical powers. And he looks pretty epic. I almost like this original sketch even more in a way. I like it in its own unique way because look at this. It's like the final image is more complete, of course, but it looks cool even as a sketch like that. Of course, you skip forward a little bit and there's more detail, more watercolors going on. They adjust the look and the lighting. And there we have a finished complete artwork of Varon here after they flip it around. And that's another wallpaper. Pretty awesome. I like how he looks. It was a lot of work because it's a very important character. That's interesting. I'm wondering where in the game will Varon be important. Is he going to be like a final bad guy? Is there going to be bad guys that have a large impact on the whole world? Like one big villain that impacts everything? Because Minecraft doesn't have anything like that. There's the Ender Dragon, of course. There's the Wither. And people can use these mobs to create their own stories and custom maps. But Minecraft, the vanilla Minecraft survival, doesn't have a real villain that's taking over the world or anything. So if there's someone like Varon who's an important character in the game, I'm wondering where he'll be important in. In the video you can see I started over many times and it was very messy. I had no process. I was painting over layers and layers and trying to find something interesting, and eventually found a nice outline and started to define the details. So from what I've gathered from art, it's good to just start out with a brief little sketch and try to figure out what you want to do. Otherwise you'll get stuck on sort of a writer's block or a drawing block or whatever, and you won't know exactly where you want to go and it won't turn out as good. I'm no artist though, so I can't state if that's true. I can't confirm. He looks a bit like a demon, and he has a spectral aspect. He's not from Orbis, which is the main planet of the game. So there's different planets, I guess, which is really cool. I already saw the concept art for the planet, so I was pretty sure there'd be multiple, but that's interesting. So he has a key color, which is green once again. The orb represents void magic. I thought that might be green too, but for the need, he ended up picking purple pink, which is corruption in the world. It's like Terraria. Purple is corruption. Red is crimson, even though there probably won't be a crimson. He's mostly a distant threat. Okay, so he's sort of like a threat that's overlooking the world, and we can't deal with him right away. However, he's something we need to keep in the back of our minds for us to focus on and be prepared to battle in the end. Even though this seems like not a very important blog entry, there's little tidbits of info locked within these lines that we can use to interpret what's going on in the world, which is really nice. And it's interesting to try and piece together the story before the game even comes out. It's interesting. I want to talk about something else real quick. So, the Hytale announcement trailer was released back in December 13th, 2018. So it was one of the last trailers released in 2018. And I just want to briefly mention how well this trailer is doing, because it kind of blows my mind a little bit with how well this trailer is doing. And it has 37,630,200 views, which is a large number, but it keeps on growing every single day for some reason, which is strange because usually after about a month or a couple weeks even, trailers start to drop in views. No one watches them anymore because everyone already knows about the game. People watch the trailers only once because they want to know what the game is like and that type of thing, and then they stop afterwards. For some reason, people keep watching the Hytale trailer, and I might be able to give a little bit of a reason why. Because I do the exact same thing. I just keep on watching it, like maybe once a day or once a week at least, or something like that. Because it's pretty hype-inducing, I have to say. Like, if you're into these types of games, if you're into Minecraft as a kid, even if you don't play it anymore, even if you don't even like Minecraft anymore, or most sandbox games anymore, for some reason the Hytale trailer sparks a little bit of that sort of childhood fun that you've had. It brings back that nostalgia for a game that you once loved, and it makes you feel like you might feel those same things again playing this game. And overall, I think this is a really well done trailer too, because it shows off just enough about the game to get people who are into these types of games excited about it, but it also doesn't show off the story or how the game exactly will play once you get into survival mode and how the mechanics work. It doesn't even really show the UI much at all. So it's just a perfect amount. And I think it's been doing super well, and all the comments are really positive, and this is really positive too. I need to give it a thumbs up. Down here, play this at Minecraft's funeral. This is what happens when Terraria and Minecraft meet in the middle. Which my friends absolutely love Terraria, but for some reason aren't as big fans of Minecraft, which I think is a little bit strange considering how I think we've played Minecraft more than Terraria in the past, and had just as much fun on both. But if this mixes in both, we'll all have tons of fun in this. And I want to compare it to some other trailers real quick, just so I can show how well it's been doing by comparison. So if I go here, I have the most watched trailers on YouTube of 2016, I believe. Is this 2016? This is the most watched trailers of 2016, yeah. So number 10, we have Doom. And keep in mind, this article was made in December of 2016, so these trailers have gotten more views since this has been made. But, of course, if it's at 10, it won't have exceeded it by now. So there's Doom, there's Watch Dogs 2, FIFA 17, Sun and Moon, Overwatch, Clash of Kings, which is a mobile game, Gears of War 4, Clash of Clans Hog Rider, which has a ton of views now. But this has been released for a long time, so it makes sense. I think it has like 60 million now. Yeah, it has like 65 now. There's Infinite Warfare, which is at about 41, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, it's at about 42. And Battlefield 1. So out of this list, the only trailers who have more views than Hytale right now is Battlefield 1, Infinite Warfare, and Hog Rider right here. Gears of War, for some reason, this video isn't showing on here correctly. That's weird. But Battlefield 1 even it has a big lead, but Infinite Warfare, Hytale's starting to catch up to that stuff. Hog Rider probably never will. So here's the top viewed trailers of 2018. So at number 1, we have Fortnite Season 5 announcement trailer, which is Fortnite, what do you expect? But here it's at 48 million, which seems really high. But Hytale's at 37 million, and I swear, just a few days ago I checked it, and it was at like 34 or 33. Like, it's going up pretty quickly. I don't know if it'll hit these numbers unless they do some sort of promotion for the trailer, but it's just still growing really quickly. Fallout 76, it's exceeded Fallout 76. That's at 34 million. See, God of War right here, 20 million. Red Dead Redemption 2, 28 million. Infinite Warfare is still slightly ahead. GTA 5 is a bit ahead. Mario Odyssey is one of the biggest Nintendo games. It's at 35, this is at 37. It's above Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, or anything that has been released on the Switch. It's ahead of all of them. Other than, I don't think it's ahead of Smash Bros. I have to double check that. Surprisingly, the Smash Bros trailer has much less views than many other games. I guess it's because everyone just watched it at E3, and so they didn't have to look it up on YouTube, and everyone knows what Smash Bros is like. So yeah, it's ahead of Smash Bros for sure. There's very few games that are ahead of it. So I go back into here, or back into 2018, it's ahead of that, it's ahead of Red Dead 2, ahead of this one, ahead of this, ahead of all of these. So it's number 2 in 2018. And the second most watched game trailer released in 2018 is the Hytale trailer. And it's only below Fortnite, which is the most mainstream game that's ever been made, pretty much, other than maybe Minecraft. So that's really interesting. Here we have 2017, which has Hog Rider, which released the year before anyway, so I would argue that doesn't even count as 2017. But it's ahead of everything else on here also, so it's number 2 on this list. So it's basically like, it keeps on growing. Here, let me refresh this. I've had it open for about an hour or so, or a couple hours. No, I've had it open for less than an hour. Let's see how much it grew. 37,630. 647. I've actually had this open for about 30 minutes, I believe. So that means it grew about 20,000 views almost in about 30 minutes. And that's really fast for a trailer that's been released for a couple months. So people are hyped about this game. I'm hyped about this game. Hopefully you all are hyped about this game because I'm going to jump straight into it and do all sorts of stuff. I'm going to try a variety of things if I have time to do so whenever this game releases. Hopefully I can find time of college going on and everything like that because I'm going to take some summer classes too. But we'll see how it goes. I'm really excited though, and I hope it brings back some memories of Minecraft and all the good times we had in that. So hopefully you all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you all are hyped for Hytale like I am, and I hope to see you all on the next adventure.